Hello and welcome to ZgermanGuy Reviews. And welcome once again, my friends, to another edition of Kingdom Hearts, a retrospective. Last time we checked out in Traverse Town and brought Sid a navigation gummy for our ship, so we can travel to Hollow Bastion, the main base of Maleficent's operation. We wait outside Sid's workshop and Sora starts having a vision. He flies through space and sees Kairi talking to an old woman, presumably her grandmother, telling her the story of the legendary Kingdom Hearts. Once in the beginning of time, there was only one world, and only light existed. But some people loved the light so much that they wanted it more than others, and because of that greed, darkness grew in their hearts. It became so strong that it nearly destroyed all of existence. Only the children, who had the purest of hearts, managed to defeat the darkness. But the light, the true light, is still kept hidden somewhere inside that darkness. Kairi's grandmother says that one day the door to that light will open and light will triumph over evil. You know, while we're on the subject, let's talk about the religion in Kingdom Hearts. Religion may not be the right word, it's more of a personal spiritual philosophy than a strict set of religious texts and rules. But there is a universal acceptance in every world that there is light and that there is darkness. It's just that each and every individual, just like in real life, approaches the matter in a different way. People are constantly talking about finding the light, or finding their own light, or finding themselves. Finding something they lost, finding something they never knew yet want to know. It's a deep desire for something that's bigger than one's own self. Kingdom Hearts is not only the story about friendship, about the eternal battle between good and evil, but in a way it's also the story about people trying to find God. And just like in the real world, there are different interpretations and methods how to do that. Some say it's a personal journey, others say it's with friends and family, or it's through great power. Some don't care, and very so often there are those that say darkness prevails. At the end of the day, there are these obvious truths. Good and evil take on different appearances, they change the form, but in their essence, they stay always the same. We are all connected, and through these connections, our hearts, our souls become one. Over the course of time, the good guys will always win, and every empire of evil that was once built will turn to ashes. After Sora snaps out of his vision, Sid tells us that our ship is ready. We manage to get through the Heartless Fleet and arrive in Hollow Bastion. We find Riku talking to the Beast from, well, Beauty and the Beast, asking him how he managed to come here, given that his world has been destroyed. He replies he believed he could do it, and there isn't much more to it.
And to do this, you just gotta believe in yourself. You just gotta believe!
He then demands from Riku to bring him Belle so he can leave with her, but of course Riku cold-heartedly says no and cuts the Beast, wounding him badly. Without him bleeding, which is strange. Did somebody at Square think that Disney is afraid of that sort of thing?
I'm so sorry.
Good endure.
Sora stops him before he can do anything worse, and Riku straight out tells him what his problem is.
We've always been rivals, haven't we? You've always pushed me, as I've always pushed you.
Riku.
But it all ends here. There can't be two Keyblade Masters.
What are you talking about?
Let the Keyblade choose. Its true master.
After Riku has taken the blade from us, he tells us we have been nothing more than a delivery boy. Donald and Goofy then turn their backs on Sora and follow Riku, because he appears to be the new Keyblade Master, and they got their orders.
Sora, sorry.
A sorry doesn't heal a broken heart, Donald. A sorry doesn't heal a broken heart. I hope they waste all your items, Riku! Believe me, these guys have a talent to do that! Sora starts to despair, but sees that the beast is standing up. He tells him he needs to sit down, with his invisible wounds and all, but the beast doesn't want to give up, and he tells Sora he won't leave this castle until he found his love. This in turn encourages Sora, and he says that he too will not give up. He then, armed with nothing but his old toy sword and a 2 tons heavy bear-wolf meat grinder at his side, fights his way through the catacombs of Hollow Bastion, where he and the Beast open the gates to find Riku, Donald and Goofy in the entrance hall. But Beast gets distracted by a Heartless, mocking his loss. Riku, not much impressed by us, says we should give up, for the darkness will destroy us if we dare to go on. Sora, in absolute conviction, tells him that yes, it may does that. It may destroy his body, but it cannot destroy his heart. Riku, not having much interest talking about metaphysics, fires an energy ball at Sora, and Sora closes his eyes, ready to die. But not surprising, Goofy intervenes and says he will not betray his friend. Shortly after, Donald comes to his senses too. With his friends back at his side, Sora tells Riku what he in all of his travels has learned. He learned that the heart can be weak, it can give in, but no matter what happens, deep down there is always a light that will never ever go dark. I'm going to be kaput by the end of this video. And with these words, the Keyblade returns to its true master. Now it's time to kick some butt. And oh lord, how the butts are being kicked. Riku runs away, confused he could be beaten. Soon afterwards, he gets approached by the hooded man from Destiny Island. He tells him that his heart is weaker than Sora's, and that's the reason the Keyblade left him. But there's a way to become stronger than ever before. Riku, get away from that drug dealer. I know you want to beat Sora, but steroids are not cool, okay? Seriously though, with all the moralizing in this game, I'm actually surprised something like that wasn't brought up too. But Riku accepts the deal and goes back to Maleficent, who doesn't notice his voice is now 20 times deeper than before. I guess she just assumes he hit puberty extremely fast. They have gathered all the 7 princesses of the heart and plan to open up Hollow Bastion's keyhole, which is connected to the darkness and which will unleash an army of Heartless that will devour every remaining world. Their plan doesn't work, however, as Kairi, who turns out is the last princess, is still missing her heart. But Maleficent decides first things first and attacks us, but gets swiftly beaten. She tries to flee to one of the abandoned parts of the castle, but Riku shows up, now wielding his own Keyblade, one with the ability to unlock the hearts of people. He demonstrates this with Maleficent, who, as expected, has a soul black as the night and transforms her into a fire-breathing dragon, starting one of the hardest non-secret bosses in the game. When the mighty beast falls and nothing but her cape remains, Riku remarks she has been nothing more than a tool by the Heartless, stepping on her remains in disgust. We follow Riku to the Dark Portal. No, not that one. And Sora realizes that the person in front of him is not the real Riku. The mysterious character confirms this and reveals himself to be Ansem, the Seeker of Darkness. Ansem's ultimate goal is to find Kingdom Hearts, the hearts of all worlds, and he believes when he does, he will become one with darkness itself. I love this plot twist, because it is done so well. It's how a good plot twist is being done, right in front of your face, but hidden well enough so that when you know the reveal, it all makes a whole lot more sense. Every time we defeat one of the major bad guys who work together with Maleficent, we get one of the Ansem reports. In them, he writes how it was him who accidentally created the Heartless when he tried to unlock the secrets of the heart. But at no point is it plain obvious that he made a transition towards evil. And a lot of you probably already know that that's not the entire truth. But as long as we can keep it simple, let's do that, because when we get to the real meat of the story, not even an alliance between the comic book guy Sheldon and Brainiac will be able to keep the whole thing straight. I am telling the story in the same order and way the games do, only I will explain stuff later on. And honestly, it doesn't make sense to start off a Sixth Sense review by saying Bruce Willis is a ghost. Spoiler alert. Anyway, Ansem demands Kairi's heart back, which, in another great twist, we kept inside us the entire time from the moment on Kairi passed through us on Destiny Island. Sora, who never gave up before, definitely has no intention of starting now, and so a battle begins between the Seeker of Darkness and the Keyblade Master. We win, and Sora realizes that in order to give Kairi her heart back, he has to open up his own, and so he does the most noble thing. He uses Ansem's Keyblade on himself, releasing Kairi's heart and that of the other princesses, sacrificing himself. Kairi awakens only to see Sora disappear in her arms, but they have no time to mourn as Ansem still wants to open the keyhole. However, Riku, who still has some control over his body, manages to hold him back a little. This is sadly of no use as Ansem still has the army of Heartless under his control, which he sends after the three. Sora finds himself falling into darkness and becomes, to no one's surprise, a Heartless himself. It seems, however, that he has some form of his old self in him as he runs after Donald, Goofy and Kairi, not to harm them, but to communicate. Kairi realizes that this Heartless is Sora and tries to protect him. He is then being transformed back into a human thanks to their unbreakable bond. They escape, leaving the beast, still refusing to go without Belle, behind. Back in Traverse Town, our heroes analyze the situation, and they conclude, as long as the keyhole in Hollow Bastion is open, the Heartless will continue to come out of it, therefore the only solution is to go back and lock it. However, the Heartless have already become so strong that it is impossible to take the regular road. That's why Sid is giving them his navigation gummy that will show them an alternative way. He put it in a cave where Leon used to train in the hope that one day they could return to their homeworld. Sora goes to the cave, gets the navigation gummy, and then Kairi and he take the time to say goodbye, since no one can say how all of this will end. Kairi, first upset about the fact that Sora doesn't want to take her with him, saying it would be too dangerous, still wants to give him something to remember her. She gives him a lucky charm that she made on Destiny Islands a few days before their home got destroyed. She says as long as he got this, she will always be with him. Sora takes it and promises to bring it back no matter the cost. Oh, look at them, they are so cute! They should have handed out a box of tissues with every copy of this game. Sora returns to Hollow Bastion, where the Princesses of Heart tell him they have been holding back the darkness, but it keeps on getting stronger with every second. They also say that Ansem has disappeared the moment the Heartless began to swarm in. We enter the Dark Portal and discover... We will never be slaves! Stop fooling around! Now we enter the Dark Portal, defeat a Behemoth Heartless and seal the keyhole, but a true battle has yet to be won. Leon and the others show up, telling Sora they wanted to see their home again. They go on saying that Ansem has retreated to the Heart of Darkness, and not the one in the Congo. Leon says that Sora needs to go there and put an end to Ansem and his schemes once and for all. When that is done, order will return to the universe and the worlds that have been destroyed by the Heartless will be reborn thanks to Kingdom Hearts. But that will come at a price. Once everything is back to normal, the barriers that once separated the worlds from one another and made it impossible for different people to come in contact will also be back. Which means Sora will never see anybody he met ever again, but Leon assures him the memories they made and the friendship they have, that is something no one can take away from them. And then Chain of Memories came along and pooped on that idea. So anyway, Sora and his crew make their way to the source of the dark power that was coming through the keyhole, a world called the End of the World. A planet made from all the remains of the worlds that the Heartless eradicated. Here hordes of shadows wait for our heroes, which they defeat one by one. Then they come across something that even I don't understand. See, there are these platforms, and when Sora and his friends enter them, they end up in worlds they have been to before. I mean, this is great, recalling all of our previous adventures and memories, preparing us even more emotionally for the end, but how does this make sense? All of these worlds have not been destroyed by the Heartless, so how can they be here? Do the Heartless create these illusions of worlds yet to be conquered because they need to train? Do they need to plan in what formation they appear? Is it for military planning? Maybe I should take back what I said at the beginning about them being zombies. Maybe the Heartless are way smarter than I give them credit for. And if you have still any doubt that Kingdom Hearts is one of the coolest games of all time, Sora, Donald Duck, and Goofy fight the literal devil! Oh, I'm sorry, I meant Chernabog. Silly of me to confuse this creature that tortures the souls of sinners, has horns, and is ultimately defeated by chanting Ave Maria with something else. We go past the point of no return and open a mysterious door that, to everyone's surprise, leads to Sora's island. But this island has nothing in common with his home. It feels cold and threatening, and the awesome Caribbean music is also not present. At the beach, we find Ansem looking at the ocean. When he notices us, he begins to explain his beliefs. Darkness, even in the purest of hearts like Sora's, will always consume it in the end. The world around us begins to change. Things start to disappear, and the sea turns into the ocean of darkness from Digimon. Ansem claims everything begins in darkness and everything ends in it. But Sora, naturally, disagrees. He believes quite the opposite. No way the essence of the heart could be darkness. Ansem attacks us, saying he can't understand how we could have come this far yet still be so foolish. After the battle is over, Ansem seems defeated for the moment, but a new terror arises. The island splits itself, and Sora has to fight the very first big Heartless he ever encountered. All on his own nonetheless, because Goofy and Donald are being held back by an invisible wall, just like the one that stopped them from entering the fight the first time we met Ansem. The Heartless could have won by now if they put that wall up every time. That reminds me, make darkness great again. We get us some sweet, sweet revenge, and once again Ansem appears, fighting us with no mercy. When the ground begins to open, we fall down and darkness surrounds us. Ansem declaring, we can look as hard as we want, we won't find any light here. And so it will be everywhere once he has opened the nearby door to Kingdom Hearts. The final battle begins. Sora, Donald and Goofy getting separated in different dimensions first, but then reunited once Sora helps them out. Ansem sends everything at us he got, but even this giant flashy heartless castle that I am impressed made it through the sensors around the globe gets beaten, leaving only Ansem behind. Ansem commands the door to open to fill him with darkness, but Sora, having not a shred of doubt, tells him Kingdom Hearts is light, which it is. I have to admit, that little moment right there, when it seems darkness is about to stream out of the door, really gave 10-year-old me a mini heart attack. Oh, who am I kidding? It still does. But here's something I never noticed before. The whole story is like Raiders of the Lost Ark. No matter what Sora did or didn't do, Kingdom Hearts would have melted Ansem's face. Whatever, the light brightly shines at Ansem, taking away all his powers and giving Riku back control over his body. Riku, waiting for us at the door, tells us that the Heartless are coming and they have to close the door before they can get on the other side. The group gives their all, but the door doesn't move. Heartless begin to appear, but they get taken down by King Mickey, revealing he is also in possession of a Keyblade. Oh yeah, Mickey Mouse. He was also in the story. Sora wonders what will happen to them if they do close this door now, but Mickey assures them that there will always be a door to the light somewhere, so they don't need to worry. In a heartwarming scene, Mickey says thank you to his best friends Donald and Goofy. Riku also says goodbye and tells Sora to protect Kairi for him, thereby accepting he won't get pussy. What? It's what the whole conflict between them was about. Riku started to notice you can do other things with girls than just run down the beach. The door closes and Sora, with the help of King Mickey, locks it from both sides. All seems over, but there's one final thing left to do. Sora spots Kairi in the distance, as she, like all other people and creatures that were in other worlds, get transported back to their real homes, which are about to be restored. I'm not sure if the Genki Dama works with emotional strength too, but if it does, lend it to me. I'm going to need it. Sora holds Kairi's hand as they are being pulled apart. He tells her that one day he will be back, and she... Come now, you wuss! You promised yourself not to cry. She tells him that she already knows that, And with these words, the now much slower and emotional version of the title song, Simple and Clean, starts to play. It starts to rain, millions of fireflies, and countless of shooting stars fly across the sky, putting every world back where it belongs. As Kairi walks down the beach on Destiny Island again, everything back to normal, she goes into the cave where Sora and she always made scribbles on the wall. And... no, please, don't do this. Don't do this to me. She completes Sora's picture and thereby confirming her love for him too. The fields are too strong. The fields are fields. We then see that all of our endeavors, all of our fights paid off. We see every princess reunited with their lover, how every fairy tale gets its happy ending. Even Cloud sees Aerith again. Someone who looks at this and doesn't feel at least something has no soul. This scene, this moment, changed me. It created in me this magical, unexplainable spark. The sense of wonder that always stayed with me ever since. Because of this, I love movies. I love comics. I love music. I love games, books, stories, fiction in general. I love everything. Whenever I feel depressed, I just watch this ending and everything is forgotten. If this scene had not been, if this game had not been, I would not be the same person I am today. I am absolutely serious. So, I have this to say from the bottom of my heart. Nomura, Square Enix, everybody who worked on this game. Thank you. Thank you so much. But the story is not over yet. Sora and Donald and Goofy walk down a path, now having changed fighting uniforms for the civilian clothes. They are not sure what to do now, since there is no sign of Riku or the king, and they wouldn't even know where to look at. But Pluto appears, having a letter in his mouth with the seal of the king. Their frowning faces immediately change back into smiles, and they run trying to catch Pluto on a path that stretches for miles. They are going to have a very good sleep tonight. Anyway, that's how the story ends. That's how this wonderful, epic, emotional, funny, magic tale ends. For now. Then our true journey has just begun. ZgermanGuy out and auf Wiedersehen.